and welcome to episode 288 of the Craft House Magic podcast. My name's Ellie and I'm coming to you from Norwich in Norfolk in the UK, and today is the 20th of March. How did that happen? It was January 5 minutes ago, so I all hope you're having a lovely crafty week, and I haven't podcasted for maybe 3 weeks because I was doing lots of prep for East Anglia Yarn Festival and it was such a good show. If you haven't seen the show or any vlogs or anything, I put a video up earlier this week about my vending experience of East Anglia Yarn Festival, which was brilliant. There's a couple of really funny moments in there, so if you fancy having a look at some yarny goodness and how we got on, pop over to that video, and I'll pop a link in the bottom of the I'll pop a link in the description box down below, as well as up on this screen. So today I've got some knitting, some crochet, I've got some confessions. I am going to quickly show you the haul that I got from East Anglia Yarn Festival, even though I only had like 45 minutes an hour at the end to whip round. Because when I did the video earlier this week, I did it the day we got back from the show and it was dark, so I don't think you can really see the colours. So I'm going to quickly show you the yarns that I got from there. We've got a what's occurring section, which I'm going to talk to you about the meetups that we've got going on in the next month or so, and I've got some prizes to draw from the email subscriptions. So there's 3 winners, which I will announce a little bit later in the what's occurring section, and then I've got some information on my shop update, which actually is going to be a week on Friday the 28th of March, and then we're going to talk about Advent releases as well, so stay tuned for that because I'm really excited about the themes that I've chosen for this year. So let's get on with the knitting, shall we? I have been a bit pitiful with my knitting, to be quite honest, because I've only finished a pair of socks for my dad. Now, I haven't blocked these properly, so they are a bit sort of messy looking on the blockers, but they're my simple top-down sock pattern, and it's a free pattern on my website on Ravelry, and I have some video tutorials for this of how I use magic loop to make these, so you can catch those if you haven't made socks before. So I just did a 72 stitch sock for my dad because he's got quite wide legs, and I did about 14 rows of 2x2 rib, and I did the standard heel flap and gusset in my simple top down sock, and I stuck to 72 stitches for the foot as well. This is a Hot Socks Grundle yarn, which I had in a swap, I think. I can't find the label because obviously these days I'm way less organised than I used to be. But I do remember they were a Hot Socks Grundle, and they've got little flecks of blue over there, so they're not a very exciting pair of socks really, but they'll be good because they're for my dad. So Mum did help me with some of the first sock, but she stopped helping me because she's been too busy with moving, and hopefully they'll be moving to Norwich by the end of the month, so I'm really excited about that because me and Mum can do some crafty goodness together. I did actually take these to the East Anglia Yarn Festival, and two of the ladies wanted to have a go at the 9-inch circular needles, so I swapped the stitches onto the 9-inch circular so that they could try them out and see what it was like. So thank you to those ladies that helped me with knitting my socks for my dad. I'm afraid I can't remember your names. I don't know if I did ask you what your names were, but thank you so much. So it was always handy to take your knitting projects so that people could try out things, because I think 9-inch circulars are a little bit of a sort of a Marmite sort of thing. Sometimes people hate them because they're quite a tight circle, and other people absolutely love them. I'm a little bit like, I do love them sometimes, but for socks my favourite is Magic Loop. So there we go, we have a finished pair of socks for Dad, which does mean I've only got 2 pairs of socks on the needles, which is much better. Instead of having 4, we got 4 pairs on the needles because me and Mum were passing them between each other so that we could do bits, and I was doing the heel flaps and gussets and she was doing the plain knitting bits, but now she's moving, we can just focus on 1 pair at a time. Dad has already made holes in 2 pairs of his socks that me and Mum have made him, so we better get on with getting another pair. So that's what I've been making in terms of knitting. I do feel like I really need an exciting knitting project to cast on next, because I've been mostly crocheting this cardigan, which I'm going to show you next. So I wanted to get involved with the make-alongs that are at East Anglia Yarn Festival, and this year there was 2 projects. There was the crochet project, which is this one, the Magnus Cardigan, and it's by Meghan Ballmer, and the other one was the Daft Days cardigan. Who is the lady who does the Daft Days cardigan? I can't, it's Rebecca somebody. Can't think of her name. I'm gonna have to look it up. But they were both really nice. The reason why I chose this is because I thought it would be a lot quicker, and I only decided to do it literally a month before the show. So if I'd have started it before, I might have done the knitted one, but after I'd done this cardigan, I was in the mood for some more crochet, so I decided to start this one. Let me find out who it is. Daft Days cardigan. I'm opening the file because I do have the pattern for that as well, because I do need to knit that. It is the Crochet Rebecca, I can't think, is it Rebecca? I don't know, it's Crochet anyway. I will pop a link to her website in the description bar down below. But this is my Magnus cardigan. Now, I did intend for this to be for me, but Adam did end up wearing it at the show because he didn't have anything exciting sort of knitting or crochet to wear, so Adam wore this one. Now I did quite a few modifications for this, so I'm going to chat to you about what I've done. So I have used a 24-day advent calendar in a DK weight yarn, and the original pattern is supposed to be Aran weight, so from when I started it was already quite different from the original pattern. I used my actual size, what it should have been, but then I've used DK yarn, so I knew that it was going to be a bit smaller. And I crocheted the bottom band, and then I thought, alright, that should be alright, because it's sort of nearly met at the front. But then when I finished it, actually, because that sort of bottom band sort of goes way past my bum, that wasn't the sort of narrowest part. So when I actually put it on myself, it's a little bit, it doesn't quite go around me enough for me to feel sort of comfortable in it. So I am going to give it to Adam to wear because he hasn't got enough knitwear. I will pop it on so you can see what I mean. Quite a few people have actually said that the actual pattern itself, even if you use the right yarn, doesn't come around your bust very much because of the way it's sort of designed. So you can see that it comes to there. Actually, with this top, I'm not so self-conscious about wearing it. I haven't actually blocked it either, so it doesn't come out as neat as it should be. But with the show and everything, I didn't end up getting it all nicely, neatly blocked, but I don't think it looks too bad with it being blocked. You can see what it looks like. So I started on the bottom band of the cardigan. Let's see if I can step away. I'm actually surrounded by lots and lots of yarn, and there's boxes down here as well, because I need to get that all stocked up in the shop and find somewhere to put it. So so I'm in this little tiny corner of my craft room. So there we go. So I started with the bottom band, and you worked it across the bottom, and then you picked up stitches. Hang on. Picked up stitches along that bottom band. And I started with the first colours of my advent. So you're working backwards and forwards. One direction you're doing your sort of coloured yarn, and then you come back using the contrast, which in my case is the grey. It's my rain colourway. So I did end up just using up all of the DK yarn for each of the colours on the main body of the cardigan. And I did that all the way up until the shoulder, so you work on the main body of the cardigan and then you work on the arms. So I then cast on the stitches for the sleeve. I say cast on, crocheted the actual sleeve cuff. I did make it a little bit wider because obviously I'm using DK yarn instead of Aran, and I picked up stitches along there, and I wanted to make a sort of a narrowish sleeve. So I then did a few rounds without doing any increases, but I did dot increases all the way up the arm. So I'm going to tell you which of the rows I did an increase. So when I did an increase, what I did was, you've got a group of 3 trebles or double crochets if you're American terms of crochet, and I just on the end of the round I put 2 lots of trebles in on that last gap to increase 3 trebles. So I did that on rows 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 22, 24, 26 and 27. So I did quite a lot. I did quite a few increases early on here, a little bit more halfway up the arm, and then quite a few when you get under the arm, so that it sort of shapes for the shape of the way it goes over your shoulder. So that's why I'd done the increases like that. So it's completely different from the pattern. It's quite a puffy sleeve in the original pattern, but I'm pleased with how that came out. And I managed to join it onto the body using the same technique as the second round of the actual pattern, but I did it from the inside, so that the sort of when you're doing these rounds, you have like a chain across the top, which you then crochet into if you're doing the main body. But obviously if you're joining the sleeve, you're going to have a big line of the contrast colour for that bit. So I thought, well, I'll do it on the inside, and then it'll look like the same joining as the rest of the cardigan. So I think that worked out quite well. She did it quite different, joining on the sleeve. She used the same method that she joined mattress stitch on the top of the shoulder. She said to use the same method to join the arm on, but because I've got quite different colours between the body and the sleeve here, by the time now that it's sort of going into turquoises, I wanted to make that so it sort of brings things together with the grey, rather than using the sort of brighter colour. I've got hair stuck all in this. I'm going to blame it on Adam, because he's got long hair as well. So there we go. What else have I got to tell you? So oh, the neckband. So I did the neckband a little bit different as well. I wanted to have mine a little bit wider, so I followed the instructions when you sort of started the neckband, the same as what the pattern says. It's like a double crochet all the way along, but then instead of doing, I think it was slip stitch, like 5 rows of slip stitch all the way round, I decided to do a rib to match the bottom. So I've basically done the same rib pattern here as it was here, so but it goes lengthways all the way around the neck. And I did that for about 9 rounds, so that it's a reasonably thick band, because I was trying to, at the time, I was thinking actually if I do a few rounds at this, it'll bring it around the bust a little bit more, which it did. But now Adam's got it, it suits him way more than me, so he's going to have it. What I will do is, when I get downstairs, Adam's popped out with Jensen at the moment, but when they get back I'll video him wearing it, and you'll be able to see what it looks like. But you might have spotted Adam wearing it at the show as well, because he was wearing that with his Craft Ice Magic t-shirt. I'm going to put this cardigan back on because this is mine now and that's Adam's, so I'm not allowed to wear it. For those of you who haven't seen this cardigan yet, it's my Ariana cardigan and it's patterned by Christoffers, and I will leave a link to the video where I showed it a little bit more detail and talked about what the changes I made to it in the description bar down below. But I did, again, I don't like to use the yarn that they suggest, I like to use something completely different. This is fingering weight instead of Aran weight for the cardigan. This Magnus cardigan, actually, I think I still feel that like this feels a bit sort of chunky, with it being DK yarn crocheted, because crochet always makes things feel thicker, I think. So I prefer the fingering weight crocheted as a cardigan rather than it being heavier weight anyway. That's why I originally thought to do this in a lighter weight yarn. I definitely prefer this yarn, although I am pleased with how this sort of colours looked when this was finished. I think, oh, the only thing else I need to say about this cardigan is that I didn't put pockets on because, silly me, decided that I'd use up all of the yarn on each of these body pieces before I went on to the next one. So I didn't have enough yarn to do the pockets so that I could match it up. And I felt like putting a patch pocket over there in a different colour would sort of ruin the effect, so I haven't put pockets on mine. But the original pattern had lovely pockets and it looked really nice, but I chose not to do them in the end. Basically just because I hadn't got enough yarn to do them. So that's it. I think that's all the modifications that I've done. What I have done is I've put the modifications in notes form on my Ravelry page, on my project page, for the Magnus Cardigan, so that you can go back and look at it if you needed to check out what I did if you're working on that project as well and wanted to make similar modifications. So that is my crochet that I finished. I feel quite good. I've got 2 finished projects. I think next week is going to be a cast on crazy episode. I've got a couple of things that I want to dye yarn for, but I just need to choose which colours that I'm going to do for those. I'm thinking that I'm going to do something in my new torn colourway. I'll show you a bit closer up. So this isn't in the shop yet, but next week I'll have those updated in the shop. I just haven't had a chance to list everything yet. So previous, up until now, I've always done things sort of dyed to order basically. What I'm trying to do is change that so that it's a little bit less stressful for me, and I've got a stock and whatever's in the shop is ready to ship, sort of thing. So the yarns that are listed in the shop are actually ready to ship now, which is a lot more relaxing for me. I'm still making bags to order because if you want modifications to the bag having handles or not having handles, it's just easier to do it like that. But with having yarn ready to go, it just makes my life a little bit less stressful. So there'll be a big shop update with all this yarn and some boxes of yarn down there as well, which will be on the 28th of March, which is next Friday, a week on Friday. I'll talk a bit more about that at the end of the podcast though. But first, I have some confessions. So I did show these in the vlog that I did for the East Anglia Yarn Festival, but I don't think you can really see how lovely the colours are. So I bought these 2 yarns. I don't know whether I'm going to put them together or not. I might do. So the top one is from Pixie Yarn and it is called Picotee. And there's different sort of colours under a sort of dark purpley tone. I do like Sophie's yarn. It's very, very pretty. So I got one of those. See, I've broken my rules this time. I've bought stuff and I don't really know what I'm going to make. But because I hadn't made a list, because I was vending myself, I was just like, I need to buy some stuff. Because I do get complaints when I don't have any confessions, so that's my excuse. So I also bought this one from Helen from Giddy Yarns, and that's called a Heffalump colourway, and they're both on a merino nylon base. So I thought, actually, when I bought them, they don't look bad together, so I might do those in a project. I'm not quite sure yet, but we'll see. I bought some really nice embroidery threads from Henny Makes, and they're a mixture of BFL and silk. Very, very, very soft. And I need to do some embroidery, so I thought what better than to get a little mini set of embroidery threads. I got these stitch markers. Now, they weren't all from Hannah from Corner of Craft. It was this special hand beaded one from Hannah, but I've popped these other ones from Troublemaker Design on there as well. This one here, Jensen stole it for a while, but I did find it, so that was good. But I popped them on there just so that you can see them together. It's easier to hold up when they're in a card. But isn't that gorgeous, the hand beaded donut? I saw that Hannah had got them on Instagram that she was making for the show, and I just thought, I'd already got in my head that I was going to get one of those. I bought a kit, which I showed you before, from Hooked by Design, which was this really cute beehive. That'll be really fun to have a go. It's a form of rug hooking that you use a crochet hook for, and then I got some West Yorkshire spinners in this really cool colourway here, so I will be casting those on for Dad probably, because he keeps putting holes in his socks. I will actually fix some of the socks that he's wrecked. I just haven't got round to it yet. We'll sort that out. So I think that's all I bought. Yes, but I thought I'd show you, because some people were asking me to show you what my award looked like that I got for the East Anglia Yarn Festival, that was voted by the public the best stall. How cool is that? Isn't that brilliant? So it's the Attendees Choice Award, and I got 3rd place, and this very, very fancy rosette, which I'm going to pop up in the background of the podcast so that you can see it. But isn't that a fancy rosette with East Anglia Yarn Festival on? So I also got this frame as well, which I'm going to have to put up on the wall. If I show you the rosette a little bit closer. There we go, you can see 3rd prize. And it says East Anglia Yarn Festival this way on the lovely ribbons. How lovely is that? Oh, thank you so much everybody who voted. I didn't realise that I was even in with a chance, so I was so super excited. And if you want to see my crazy reaction to it on the video from the weekend, I popped that up earlier this week, so I'll pop a link to that as well. And that's what the little certificate looks like in the frame. So I was so blown over by that. Thank you ever so much. So the next section is what's occurring. So we have Barbara's Day out this weekend on Saturday, the 22nd of March, and it's at Wretham Village Hall between 1 and 4 p.m. and the postcode for that one is IP24 1RL, but I'll pop a link to my website which gives you the address and details if you need to check that out. I update that whenever we have a new sort of meeting organised. And then we don't forget that we've got weekly meetups at the Bull in Hellesdon in Norwich, and that's 7:30 till late, and me and Sam from the SR Crochet Designs organises that as well, so I'll pop a link to her Instagram page in the description bar down below. Right, so we've got some prizes to draw. So we've got 3 people who have won these prizes. I'm going to randomly pick who gets what, but I'll just show you what the prizes are. So we have the Unchained Melody full skein and mini skeins set, which was I think that was the February yarn club, which I needed to draw a prize for. And we've got oh no, yeah, that was February, and this was the January one, Come On Eileen. So that set is a little mini set, I'm afraid, because I didn't have any of the larger ones left. So the last of the prizes will include a skein of this lovely merino boucle from Ducky Darlings, which she gave to me when I bought a load of other stuff at the show, so that was really kind of her to donate this. So that's in the Woodlands colourway, and it's a merino fine boucle, so this will be part of a prize. And I thought I'd throw in a mini set of one of the new collections that I've got. This will be in the shop update next week, Friday the 28th. So I thought I'd throw in one of these as the second part of that prize, and it's the new colourway set that I had for the show, and that'll be in the 28th of March update on 7 p.m. So we've got 6 new colours. We've got a dark blue with black speckles, which is Rhythm of the Night. We've got a dark sort of green with darker patches called a Forest. There's some speckles of yellow in there as well. We've got Wonderwall, which is that sort of green, a little bit of turquoise and a bit of blue as well. We've got Wouldn't It Be Good, which is sort of greens and turquoises. We've got Torn, which is this sort of mid turquoise blue with speckles of green and yellow in there. And then we've got the paler turquoise, which is One of Us, with the same speckles on as well. So that set will be part of that prize. I thought I could put those together. So that's 3 prizes. What I will probably do is, well, let's just say that Come On Eileen, because that's the first set that I had. Come On Eileen is won by Laura from Rosendale in the UK. I will pop you an email by the end of the day, so you should know that it's definitely me, because I've said your name on the podcast. Obviously I won't give any more details than that. The second winner for the Unchained Melody set will be Elizabeth from Sheffield in the UK as well, so that's 2 UK people. And the third winner is Melanie from St Augustine, I think that's Florida, USA, so congratulations to you. So those are the 3 winners, and those are the prizes that you're going to receive. You will receive an email by the end of today, probably before you even see this video, but just so that you know that it's definitely me on the video and on the email as well. And you'll get an email from Ellie at crafthousemagik.co.uk rather than any random address. I'm only ever going to ask you for your full name and postal address so that I can send it out to you, nothing else, no bank details or anything. I pay for the shipping. That's what the podcast is all about. That's what the adverts do, give me a little bit of revenue so that I can then pay for shipping. So I wouldn't ever ask for your bank details for a prize. So that's all the what's occurring section. I do have my little bit of shop update information now, so I'm really excited to announce my advent themes for 2025. How is that coming already? It's crazy, isn't it? So the first, I've got 2 themes for this year. The first theme is for the 24-day advent and for the weekly advent, so that's 100-gram skeins every week, and the 24-day advent is 24 minis for each of the days, and then you'll have the option to add the skein for Christmas Day. And the theme for the 24-day and the weekly advents is Dragon's Trove. Ooh. I've been very into reading stuff about dragons lately, so there are going to be some little Easter eggs about some books that I've read about dragons, but if you're just into the colours that are in the scheme, hopefully you'll just like the sort of imagery, but there will be a few Easter eggs in the names and a little bit of extras in each of those advents. I will talk about the advents in a little bit more detail next week. I'm just introducing the themes today. So in the picture there's some circles which will show you the yarn colours, the colours that are inspiring the yarn colours for this year. The second theme is Dragonfly. Let me move this way a bit so I can get a bigger picture in. And the Dragonfly theme will be the 12-day advent and the project bag and sock set, and there'll be an option to add a Christmas Day for the 12-day advent as well. So that is Dragonfly theme. Lots of blues and purples there. You can see the circles show the sort of inspiration colours, so I just picked my favourite colours that I thought went well together for the Dragonfly theme, and that's going to be the sort of inspiration. Like I said, I'll talk a little bit more about what's involved in each of the kits next week, but basically for all of these kits there's quite a choice of different bases. My usual bases, I've tried to include some non-superwash, some superwash, some luxury and some regular bases in there as well, including DK. And I was just going to mention again that all this yarn here and several other boxes is going to be in the shop update next week, but I haven't had a chance to put it all in the shop yet, but it will be there next week, 28th of March at 7 PM GMT. And I will do an offer, is if you spend over £35 you get free postage for the UK, whereas it's normally £100. America and Canada you can get free shipping over £100, and then everywhere else it's £160. But you need to obviously convert that into your own currency to get an idea of what it is. On the website I did put an idea of what it should be when I did the conversion the other day. So that's the shop update of all this yarn, 28th of February at 7 PM GMT, and there'll also be a load of bags and bag making kits as well that I did for the actual show. The bag kits that I've done special bag kits in that they had the drawstring and zipped materials in there, and it came with the drawstring and zipped instructions for everything, so it was a special deal. So I will be selling the kits that I've set up for the show first, and I might actually change the way I sort of list kits, but they won't be on the special offer price, the show offer price. Only the ones that I've made for the show will be on the offer on Friday next week. I think that's all I've got to share with you. I'm afraid there's not as much craft this time because I've been doing so much prep for the yarn show. It took me much longer to set up that stall than I thought it would. We got in on the Friday at 1:30, and we could go till 6 o'clock set up, and then we could come 7 o'clock the next morning. I used every bit of time that we had to actually set up. Adam helped me to start with, but he went home to look after Jensen because we didn't want to leave him with grandparents too long because it's a lot to ask. So it took me a long time. I did have plans of how I was going to lay it out, but I did change it, so that's probably why it took me quite so long. So I really appreciate going to yarn shows and seeing how much work these stalls take to sort of design and get everything ready. I didn't do everything exactly how I wanted it because I didn't have time to do all the pricing properly, like individual pricing, but next time you learn, don't you, as you go. I'm hoping that I can apply for the show next year, but I'm not sure whether I'll do anything but East Anglia Yarn Festival, at least for the next couple of years. We shall see. But I did enjoy it, and it was so nice. Once I'd actually set up, it was really enjoyable to chat to everybody, and the atmosphere of the show was fantastic. It's a lovely big building, nice big like alleyways between all the stalls, loads of lovely people. Everyone is so nice, so it's well worth going to if you haven't been before to East Anglia Yarn Festival. So I think that's it for today. I am going to hand over to Jensen and show you what he got as a present from the East Anglia Yarn Festival from one of the stalls, and see how he likes it, and I shall see you next week. So thank you so much for watching. See you next week. Bye. Jensen's got his little toy from Joe Piccalilli, haven't you, sweetheart? What do you think? Oh, he's got his volcano done. And it came with some little dinosaurs. So where do the dinosaurs go? In the top. Very cute. Jensen's had a haircut today, so that's good. We've managed to get a bit of haircut because it was really, really long at the back. So what do you think of your new toy, Jensen? Good. Which is your favourite dinosaur?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah, I saw hiding there. And one sleeping.
This one's sleeping.
And one.
Good. Going to sleep. Can you say goodbye to everybody on the video?
Bye.
Goodbye. Can you wave? Thank you.